North Canterbury dairy farmer Cam Henderson is a founding member of the Waimakariri Landcare Trust, a local catchment group looking for ways to farm more sustainably in the Waimakariri district. Another local dairy farmer and chair of the trust is Sam Spencer-Bauer. He's from a local multi-generational farming family and is also committed to sustainability. Cam has worked hard to get a foothold in dairying and is now an industry leader with a commitment to developing technologies and innovative approaches to farming.
I grew up on a dairy farm in the Waikato, just west of Hamilton, and actually grew up not wanting to be a dairy farmer. I guess I got sold a little bit on the message of, as an academic, that farming wasn't the right job for me, that I needed to look for a professional career. So I went off to university and studied engineering and finance and had an office career, I guess. And so I spent a couple of years working for Fonterra and various corporate jobs in Auckland, but the call of farming brought me back. And so at the age of 25, decided that dairy farming was what I wanted to do and moved down here to Canterbury. We bought this block of land here in 2011, a couple of weeks before the big earthquake, and embarked on a conversion journey that I think most people realise lasts a little longer than you planned. And so we started with a blank slate conversion, took all the trees off, very standard Canterbury conversion for the time, and at 190 hectares was a really tidy little unit. And then over the last 10 to 15 years, we've added about another 40 hectares to that and grown the farm to 240 hectares, milking 750 cows. So I guess my engineering background hasn't gone completely to waste. I really love the innovative side that you can introduce into farming, and that's really led me down the path of trialling a number of different things on farm, just mostly for my own interest, but as it's turned out, a number of them have been, I think, quite beneficial as commercial enterprises for various companies and just as a good showcase for what might be possible on farm. We started small with just minor technology implementations on farm. So for our pivots here, we were working with a company to create a bespoke pivot control system. We then introduced fertigation onto those pivots. We've progressed to QR codes and automatic backing gates. We've got real-time nitrate monitoring underground here, and then more recently trialling Dripline on irrigation and bale grazing for winter grazing. The Dripline setup we've installed on the pivots is in conjunction with a company trialling two components. One is the Dripline technology itself, so replacing sprinklers with a series of Dripline tubes that applies the water directly to the soil. And that has so a number of benefits. The key one is savings on water. We're finding that we are saving between 15 and 20% irrigation water as compared to a standard irrigation in a Canterbury summer. The other component of the technology is what they call a nanobubble injection unit, where we're stripping the oxygen out of the air and creating microscopic bubbles in the irrigation water, which is then laid on the ground. It's a hydroponic technology, basically super oxygenating the water. And the theory is that it should develop a higher oxygen content in the soil, helping plant growth, reducing pathogens, and really improving yield. So that's very experimental at this stage. Native planting that we're trialling under pivots is more of a passion project. Having seen Canterbury dairy farming, it can be a little mundane when you look across the plains and not see a lot of vegetation. So it was just an attempt to do something a little different for biodiversity, for animal shelter, but also just really an aesthetic element that we can bring to dairy farms. The bale grazing that we're trialling here is modelled largely off what farmers in Southland have done, but with a Canterbury flavour. So I guess we look at grazing the grass and the bales during the winter. We do a silage cut off the whole area about October, November, and then just let the grass grow after that, all the way through to the winter. And so the cows are only on this ground during the winter months, and generally for only about 3 or 4 days per paddock. So it's a very low cost, very simple system, and all the feed here is for the winter period. The process that we're trialling, and this is our second year in, so we're still learning a lot, is to open all the bales up for about 3 or 4 days worth of feed, which is about 30 bales for that period. The cows will come in, and because the silage is much better quality than the grass that's been growing on this dry land here, they will eat the bales first, so within a day or two they'll have cleaned up most of the bales with very little wastage. and they'll then pick at the grass over the following days. The benefits that we're hoping to achieve out of the bale grazing, one is around less mud, so obviously there's a bit of a challenge with cows and winter cropping systems, so we're trying to keep the cow cleaner on top of the surface, give her a nice surface to be lying on, and we are finding that's working really well, some really clean cows, happy cows coming back. That also helps with spreading the cows out over a wider area and having a living root in the soil. Hopefully some benefits around nitrate leaching, and then just general animal welfare. So with the cleaner cow, cleaner udders, calving onto this type of substrate makes it a lot healthier and safer for the calves as well. So how's the planning coming along for the greenhouse gas workshop?
Yeah, pretty good, I think. We're up to about 8 farmers now. The Waimakariri Land Care Trust started when Plan Change 7 came into play for our district, and we got farmers together to put submissions in for the plan and take part in the hearings process. We're here to help support farmers through their sustainability journey, and be able to do a good job of that, we need good robust data and science around water, and currently there's quite a lot of knowledge gaps around that, and the Canterbury Plains is quite unique in the fact that majority of the water flows underground. We've been involved in a project on integrated farm planning, which was part of that 3-year MPI project we're part of. We're also trying to share knowledge amongst our farming district as much as we can, and have discussions around things we can do to improve our environmental footprint. And the other key one is probably just being involved in community events and trying to maintain some positivity.
The solar panels we put in about 8 or 9 years ago. It was one of the first solar installations from the company we work with in Canterbury, and it powers the dairy shed obviously during sunlight hours and pumps power back into the grid. On a dollars per hectare basis, it's actually the most profitable part of the farm in terms of the money that it saves the farm.